Hey guys, process essays are a real tough one, and a lot of IELTS students panic as soon as they see one of these IELTS Task 1 process essay questions. Hey, how you doing? Anthony Schultz here from Gold Coast IELTS, where I help you absolutely destroy the IELTS writing exam. Guys, process essays are really tough. You need to use relative clauses, you need to use sequencing connectors, and you need to use the passive voice. In the previous video, I showed you the difference between man-made and natural process essays. Today, I'm going to give you a full demo on how to do it properly. As always, there's going to be a bonus at the end, so stick around to the finish. Also, if you like these videos, hit the like, hit subscribe, and also smash that notification bell so you don't miss any of my latest videos. Guys, let's get started. Okay, here we are in Google Documents. I've already put in a process essay. This is a pretty typical one. Okay, guys, it's how milk is made from the very beginning until the very end when the consumer purchases it. A little bit confusing because there is a bit of a natural element to it down here with some animals, so we could probably use some simple verbs down there, but as soon as we get into the part with arrows, we're going to switch over to the passive voice. So let's get started and write the introduction. Okay, so for that first sentence of the intro, I'm just going to take the entire title of the diagram up here, change it around a little bit, change the grammar, maybe add one or two new words, and write that first sentence. Okay, so let's take a look at the title. It says, the diagram below shows the process of milk production. So they've used a noun here, and then they've used a prepositional phrase of with another noun phrase. That's an adjective and that's a noun. So we're going to take these same words, change them around a little bit, and write something like this. The process essay diagram shows the full range of steps involved in producing milk. So I added a few words there, and I changed production to producing. So I changed that noun to a participle adjective, okay? And of course, milk. I changed milk from an adjective to a noun. So they're gonna love that. Let's move on to the second sentence. And in the second sentence, I'm just gonna talk a little bit, give an overview of the whole chart. Okay, so if I look at the entire diagram, it's not really that complicated, but I think some of the parts of the steps involve a high level of technology. Like, for example, this one here, you need expert knowledge, and it takes a lot of money to also build this kind of thing. So I made this sentence down here. Overall, okay, let's just add a comma. Overall, it can be seen that although the process is quite simple, and let's add it there, it involves a high level of technology as well as cooperation between different people. So you need the farmers, you need the drivers of the trucks, you also need the people who are turning the milk into the final milk product at the dairy factory. So one other thing I did, I used involved in the S1 and I used involves in the S2. Okay, guys, so they love this kind of thing when you take a word, change it a little bit, and put it into another sentence. Okay, so we have now finished the introduction. We're going to move on and describe all the steps now. So what we need to do, the first thing, we need to see the arrows, the direction of the arrows. Where does the process start? Where does the process finish? So it really starts here. Okay, I think this is just a bit of extra information about the cows grazing. So it starts here and it goes down and then it goes across the bottom. And when you get to the dairy factory, it breaks off into two prongs. So it goes up into milk and it also goes down into more specialized dairy products that take a little bit more speciality in their production. So we can talk about that as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and write the first sentence. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to describe this picture and this first step in one sentence. So this is what I came up with. I said, firstly, Milk producing cows that graze on grass are brought to a milking station on a dairy farm where they are milked in separate cubicles. So you can see I really looked to find the detail of the picture. I found that each cow goes into a separate cubicle, and I changed some of the words around. Up above in the picture, they are called grazing cows. So I changed that adjective grazing to a verb, graze. And I also added this one from my own knowledge. You cannot find milk producing in the picture above referring to the cows. But my uncle in New Zealand, he owned a dairy farm, so I know that they are called milk producing cows. So from my own knowledge, I added this little piece of nice vocabulary. Let's move on now to the next step. So the next step is going to be taking the milk and putting it into refrigeration storage. After that, they're going to put that milk from the storage containers or vats into the truck to be delivered to the dairy, the production facility, where they turn the raw milk from the cow into milk that people can drink safely. So I'm going to try to put these two steps into one sentence, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so here's my second sentence describing those next two steps. This milk is then put into storage vats until it is ready to be transported by a specialized milk tanker to the production facility. So what I'm doing is I'm describing the milk taken from here, put into the vats, taken by truck to the dairy production facility. So in one sentence, I've almost gone, about halfway into the whole process. So we only need now to talk about from here to the supermarket, which is not really much more, maybe one or maybe two more sentences. So let's do sentence 3. Okay, so here's that third sentence. After being delivered to the dairy production facility, the raw milk product goes through a cleansing process where it is pasteurized and made safe to drink for consumers. So part of this sentence comes from my own knowledge, because I know that the reason we do this is to kill any germs so that people can drink the product safely. Okay, let's move on now, guys, and try and finish off this paragraph. So I think in sentence 4, I'm just going to talk about this other possibility for how the raw milk can be used finally. So I'm just going to describe this one now with the yellow arrow. Okay, so in this sentence 4, I've said, alternatively, the raw milk can also be turned into other dairy products such as cheese, butter, or yogurt. Now we need to move on and write a fifth sentence that describes the last step of the process. And the last step of the process is to sell all these products on the supermarket shelf to the end consumer. Okay, so here's my last sentence, sentence number 5. Finally, all these finished dairy products are then delivered to retailers such as supermarkets and grocery stores to be sold to customers for consumption. Okay, so what we've written so far is about 157 words. Okay, guys, so I've broken it down. You can see the word count there: 14, 26, 24, 24, 28, 18, and 23. So it's not too big as it is right now. We could finish here if we wanted to. We could finish the whole essay now, or we could keep going and we could add a little summary at the end of about maybe 15 or 20 words. And I think it's still gonna be, within the normally accepted word limit. So I'll just show you how to write a quick summary. So for a summary, we could just say something like, to summarize, the process of milk production can be used to make a range of dairy products that can be enjoyed by many people. So we do want to be aware of all the special techniques that were used in writing this essay. So I'll just go through now, guys, and show you the sequencing connectors, the relative clauses, and also the passive voice involved in this essay. So the first thing we need to take note of is all the connecting language, and there is some connecting language in every sentence. We can see it starts here, the process essay diagram shows. Then we use overall, firstly, where, then, until, after, where, alternatively, such as, finally, and to summarize. So the next technique I used in the process essay was the relative clause. I only used one relative clause in this essay, and it's right there in sentence 1 of the description. And it's to describe the cows, and I said that graze on grass. So we can also use relative clauses. The last thing we need to take note of is the passive voice. Okay, so looking now at the passive voice, I used a ton of passive voice here, guys, 11 times. Let's go through and check it out. I said can be seen, are brought, are milked, is then put, be transported, being delivered, is pasteurized and made, be turned into, are delivered, be used, and be enjoyed. So there's a ton of it there. And it doesn't sound strange because I use different kinds of passives. So I use things like, for example, I put the connector in the middle of the passive here. And what else did I do? I used here 2 verbs, is pasteurized and made. So that's one be verb with 2 past participles. Also here I used the be verb plus what is that one? Turn into. That's a phrasal verb. So that's a 2-word verb in the past participle form. And also, yeah, that's it. So a lot of different kinds of passives are used. So that's how you write a process essay for a man-made chart. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. And whenever you do write a process essay, use these tips and you're sure to do a great job. If you got value, guys, hit the like and subscribe buttons and also the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.